There are plenty of jobs out there. If you really try hard enough and you get off your lazy behind, put some pants on instead of just wearing pajamas all day, you could easily find a job probably by the end of the day. That's the message that we get a lot of times as job seekers looking for brand new opportunity, because people just don't understand. Either they've easily been able to network their way from one job to another, or they've been actually poached from one company to another by a mentor or a colleague or some other kind of peer, and they just don't understand what it's like to look for a job. Or if they've looked for a job, it's maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago where things might have been a little bit easier for them than it would have been for us looking for a job over the past year. They don't understand how difficult the job market is, how applying to 1,000 jobs is not even going to get you where you need to go. There's a lot of people who are out of touch, and a lot of people who just feel the shame and guilt of looking for a brand new job, and that's absolutely terrible. So here today, I want to share a handful of people's stories and experiences with this current job market, and let me know down in the comments below what you think of this. Can you relate to any of it, and just your general thoughts and feelings on this job market in general. We start off on Quora, where somebody says, "What is the hardest part of finding a new job for professionals?" For me, it's the interview process. Some employers simplify it and make it quick and painless, but most companies don't seem to. And the one thing I feel like I've learned is the most non-traditional hoops they ask you to jump through, the less likely you are to get the job. So it's been frustrating to do all these different things and have my time wasted, and then to be sent some poorly worded or dismissive rejection email. I was told several times this year while looking for a job something to the effect of, I don't fit their job requirements, their position, or just basically that I'm not qualified, when it's absolutely not true. Once, I was told this after going through many steps of the interviewing process and even being told that I stood out in one of these steps. It wasn't like they looked at my resume and immediately decided based off of it that I wasn't qualified, which makes being told any version of I am not qualified for this job halfway into the process completely ridiculous. This is why I say a lot of employers nowadays are sending poorly worded rejections. Another time, a few months ago, I interviewed with this company and it seemed to go well. I got a rejection email 2 to 3 weeks later. I continued the interviewing process with the company that hired me for my current job, and as soon as I passed all the HR screening steps for this company, the company that rejected me contacted me on LinkedIn as if we had never, ever talked before, and raved about my qualifications in relation to the job for which I'd already been rejected. When I pointed out we'd already talked, they said they would like to reconsider and expected me to take more time out to talk to the HR guy again, prepare a presentation for someone else at the company, and then schedule a time to present it to that person. And then who knows what else would have been next. I started my new job, and once I saw that it was going to work out well, I canceled my interview with this other dopey company. Going through interviews is just a time-consuming, draining process that doesn't make sense sometimes and increasingly asks too much of job applicants, especially if you're applying for a new job while you're still working. I think we should all be able to submit a resume, do the interview within a week or two, interview either with one person or have everyone there who wants to speak with you for that interview on that one day, submit a reference, and then they make you an offer within another week or two. End of story. Enough with the IQ test, personality test, and other types of test questions. 3 to 4 different interviews with the same company, being screened first by HR, presentations, etc. I literally had to submit short essay answers to 6 questions for that one job. I mentioned that suddenly thought I was unqualified halfway through the interviewing process. In addition to doing an IQ test and personality test, not to mention an interview with HR being the first interview of many. And there's a lot of things there. And I know as I've been looking for jobs, so first I was like, I don't know if I want to do all these one-way interviews or send in a video or recording or anything like that. So I did a couple and it got me nowhere. It didn't seem to like get me any brownie points or anything like that. So I guess I can't really say anything about people who see things like that. Like, hey, send me a video or we'll do a one-way interview. And the people say, I'm not doing all that noise, because it kind of does seem to be a waste of time. And it is interesting, as this poster said, that the more hoops and the more runaround they give you, the less likely you're to get to a actual person in the interview process anyways. And I actually looked at Glassdoor reviews for 2 different companies that required either a one-way interview or at least recording 2 or 3 minute answers to some questions. And people said, yeah, I did all this stuff and I never even got an HR person, just got a generic rejection email. So it might not be worth your time to jump through all these hoops because it's not going to make you stand out, unfortunately. It's just going to waste your time and make you even more upset. The more straightforward the interview process, probably the better, because if they're going to play all these games with you before you even work there, just imagine if you got the job, all the nonsense they'd make you do. So it's probably better to avoid that if possible. Next, we move to Reddit, where this person says, people who tell you that searching for a full-time job is or should be a full-time job are full of crap. If I spent 40 hours a week looking for a job, I would be a depressed alcoholic. You have to take care of yourself mentally and physically, or you will not be able to effectively execute a job search. I hear you, and yeah, that does make a lot of sense, but I mean, what's your alternative? I mean, the reality is, if a corporate job at least, you're going to be working way more than 40 hours, so it's still not working as many hours as you would have to be in a full-time job, especially if you add the 2 to 3 hours of commute that a lot of us had in going into a big city. So it's still less work than you would have to do, but like, what's your alternative? You're gonna take a break and play video games or read a book? Or I don't if you have been laid off and you only have so much savings and you don't have any other money coming in, I just don't understand what your alternative is. I mean, maybe you don't need to put in 12-hour days, but Monday through Friday, what else are you going to be doing that's a better use of your time than applying for jobs? I get if you need to maybe rest and recuperate for a couple of days, maybe you'll take a week off, but after that, your job is to find a new job, right? So I think that if you're not going to put in as much time as you possibly can, maybe after a short break, then I don't know if you're going to have the kind of success in this job market to find a brand new job. So it shouldn't be like that, but we can't focus on how things should be. We have to focus on how they are and how we make things happen within the current confines of our society. And someone responded to that by saying, I stopped spending 40 hours on this back in October. Mondays, I keep it light, 1 or 2 applications. Then I hit it hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday morning, I'll sit at my desk for an hour or two, hoping something new hits my email inbox, apply for a thing or two, then close my laptop around noon, pour a drink, open a book, and fall asleep. Rinse and repeat. And at least this is a reasonable strategy. This is not someone saying, I don't want to spend that much time looking for jobs because, you have to. The bills got to get paid. But at least this reminds me of a sales job I had right out of college. Well, it wasn't supposed to really be sales, but it was like a financial advisory place. Anyways, yeah, we worked very, very hard Monday through Friday afternoon, barbecue, tiki hut, drinks, had a good time. So this is a good way. You want to be able to unwind and reward yourself for all the hard work during the week. Yeah, hitting it hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And yeah, you should get to a point where you're like, I'm not just going to mass apply anymore and just throw things out into a void, but I actually have some kind of strategy, some kind of game plan, some kind of targeted approach that I can really knock out of the park. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit on Monday and a little bit on Friday. That's at least an honest effort towards trying to find a job. And then there's another response to that I want to read. And this person says, I don't understand how people can spend 8 hours applying every day. Are people supposed to apply to every single job on LinkedIn? Jobs in my preferred field have all but evaporated. I'm lucky if I can find 1 to 3 a day that I'm qualified for. I've expanded my search to other fields, but even then there's a limit to how much you can stretch your resume. If someone's looking for a landscaper and I've never even seen a lawnmower before, that's not a lot. There's not a lot I can do to seem qualified. And that's a good point, especially someone younger in their career. They might not have a lot of experience and a lot of different roles that they can do, especially if they got a degree and then their experience matches exactly their degree. There's not like, oh, I have a degree in this at least, and I can probably figure it out. There's a lot less options. For someone like me who's been working for over 12 years, there's going to be a lot more opportunities because I've done 4 or 5 different roles. So there's an endless amount of jobs that I can apply to. Unfortunately, most of them are ghost jobs. You never hear back. But I know 4 or 5 different titles and roles that I could do that I could spend all day applying to without running out of even jobs to apply to. Even if I just look for something that's labeled fully remote, between the different career paths that I've had previously, I wouldn't run out of jobs to apply to every single day, even if I didn't rest. So especially if you go to LinkedIn and Indeed and all these other kind of websites as well. There's plenty of options out there. So maybe this person, so a lot of people will say, just skill up. Well, I don't know. In my case, I don't know how much I'm supposed to skill up with a master's degree, professional certifications, and 12 years of experience. But if this person is only finding 1 to 3 jobs a day they're qualified for, that's not good. That's a huge issue, and I think they need to figure out what other kind of skills they have, or it's going to be a long, tiring job search for this person. Next, we move to X, which will never not sound ridiculous, but this person says, just received this from a recruiter. These are graduate level marketing salaries in the United Kingdom. £30,000 for 3 years experience, just above minimum wage, less than half the US salary. Meanwhile, we pay factory workers more. Why would anyone stay in this job market? And they even went on to share the job posting, and the job posting here says, marketing executive, £30,000. Holds a degree in marketing with over 3 years of experience in digital and content marketing. Skilled in creating and managing social media campaigns across LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Experience with email marketing, SEO, and PPC campaigns. Proficient in Adobe Creative Suite, Canva, and basic video editing. Strong copywriting skills, developing content for blogs, newsletters, and press releases. And this is the basic template here when people are made fun of for not wanting to work. It's like, yeah, but they want all this for 30,000 pounds a year. I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, it's one thing to take a job because it'll maybe allow you to not eat into your savings so much. But if this person is an expensive part of the United Kingdom, like if they're in London, like I'm in Florida, that's not going to go very far to pay their bills. So you could take this job that's absolutely insane, has crazy requirements, but you're not going to be able to pay your bills, and you're still going to wind up homeless because 30,000 is not enough to pay everything. And then, yeah, you might as well just work at a factory or work maybe even fast food in the UK will pay more than that. Who knows? Next, we move to LinkedIn, where this person says, 4,000 applications, 0 success. A year of searching, applying, refining resumes, writing cover letters, networking, only to be met with silence, rejection emails, if I'm lucky, and a flood of scams and multi-level marketing schemes trying to take advantage of job seekers like me. I have years of experience, advanced degrees, and a strong skill set. I tailor my applications, prepare for interviews, and put in the work. And yet the job market feels more like a lottery than a system based on qualifications and merit. What's the reality of today's job search? Automated systems filter out candidates before a human even sees the resume. Must-have requirements eliminate great candidates who could learn on the job. Ghosting is more common than constructive feedback. The myth of plenty of jobs if you just apply is just out of touch with the reality. Job seekers are left exhausted, emotionally, mentally, and financially. To fellow job seekers, you're not alone. If you're struggling, I see you. If you're feeling hopeless, I understand. The system is broken and it needs to change. And here's someone with a big application count, and so the people only applying to 50, 100 jobs before throwing in the towel on life, that is not going to get the job done when you see someone who has applied to 4,000 applications or 4,000 jobs at least, or at least job postings, because we know most of these jobs are ghost jobs and they're not real. But yeah, a year of searching and refining resumes, and yeah, you're lucky to get a rejection email. And sometimes those things come 3 or 4 months later. It'd be surprising, like, when did I apply to this job? And unfortunately, yeah, they sell your data, so you'll get more calls from people trying to buy your car or get you to invest in this course than from actual hiring managers and recruiters. So this person has the experience, the degrees, the skills, tailoring all the resumes, putting in the work, and yeah, it does feel like it's just like winning a lottery. It might be easier to win a small lottery settlement than to actually land a good job these days. But unfortunately, yeah, we are well past the meritocracy. These companies are looking to get the most amount of work for the cheapest amount possible, and unfortunately, the cheapest amount possible is going to probably be someone from another country as opposed to a U.S. citizen. So it makes things really, really rough here. And I think this person makes a lot of good points when they say like there's automatic filters weeding people out. There's no time to really make your case. I mean, yeah, you can make your case on a resume, but it's hard because you also have to have the right keywords and the right phrases and the right terminology on it. It would be nice to be able to actually talk to a person even over a phone call and really explain what's going on with your resume, and like, hey, you might be a little bit weak in this area, but this is something that you've learned before. It's like with software. You're like, oh, well, I need you to be able to use this software. And it's like, well, I use this software and it's very similar and I can easily transfer my skills into that and I can pick that up in probably, I don't know, a couple of days or a week. But you don't get the opportunity to have those kind of human connection conversations anymore in this job market, unfortunately. And yeah, ghosting is very common. And plenty of jobs, if you just apply, you're just lazy, you're not applying to jobs, that's why you don't have a job. It's all ridiculous. And then sticking with LinkedIn, Eric has a plea to everyone, and Eric says, if you want to be helpful to other people, stop giving out one-size-fits-all advice. Acknowledge that not everyone's particular situation or job requirements or industry experience will fit your particular resume and or job-seeking advice, and stop pretending it applies to everyone. I know everyone on here wants to pretend like they are the go-to expert on all things job search, HR, hiring manager, and the like. But the reality is that the job market right now is a crapshoot at best, and at worst, an impossible game of schmoozing and favoritism, where only 1% of job seekers will ever find the employment they are truly looking for. Pretending that it's not is not doing anyone any favors, and just misleads people to waste countless hours for phantom job posts for jobs that will never be filled in the normal channels, if ever. I think that sums up a lot of gurus and a lot of help on LinkedIn and other places. All people can do is really give their tips and tricks if they've been through the job search themselves, especially recently. But other than that, I think there's a lot of people taking advantage of people, trying to get them to sign up for career coaching or for resume reviews, and it's a shame to see people take advantage of people in such desperate times. But I can't add any more to that. I think Eric summed that up pretty well, but let me know what you think about what he said and what other people said in this video that we went over today. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later.